general shield of the moment like that, I always feel like I'm missing something. So I hope that this will be a good resource even for me. So normally when we do these webinars, I do an introduction, and I like to have experts actually doing the speaking and running the webinar. This is a little unusual because this webinar, it's just going to be me speaking, and maybe I should apologize for that in advance. It probably doesn't seem like I'm just droning on and on. I try to make it as exciting as I can. We encourage interaction in all of our webinars. They're very informal. I'm by no means an expert on, webinar technology, and nor do I want to be. So occasionally things go wrong, and we ask for your indulgence. You look down on the right-hand bottom right of your screen, you should have a little hand down there. So on the one hand, as I said, we encourage interaction. On the other hand, because we've had problems in the past, I have muted everyone's line centrally. So if you have a question, please, raise your hand. Now, since I'm also the speaker, in addition to kind of running everything behind the scenes, if I don't see your hand because I'm concentrating on my slides, please feel free to unmute your phone and kind of, jump in with a question. I don't mind, and because it's just me, you should just feel free to ask questions as we go along. To unmute your line, let's see, I believe it's #5 that you hit. Yeah, I hit *5 to mute everyone's line. I think you hit #5 to unmute your line. You can also try to ask a question using the chat function, and I'll try to fit the question in where it makes sense. So, that will also have time at the end for a bunch of general questions, and I'm hoping that you can stick around for that. So, okay, let's go ahead, and I wanted to start off. Everybody, just strategically speaking, should have a 20-second elevator speech to explain, their program or their product or what it is that they do, and this is mine. When people ask me, well, what's GreenChill? Basically, I start with our mission statement. So, and there are a couple key points in this mission statement. So, it's an EPA partnership with food retailers. The mission is to reduce refrigerant emissions and decrease their impact on the ozone layer and climate change. In terms of how we do that, well, what are our specific goals? How do we achieve that mission? We achieve that mission by encouraging the supermarket industry, providing information and assistance to the supermarket industry to help them transition to lower impact refrigerants, to help them reduce and hopefully eventually eliminate refrigerant emissions, which means lowering charge sizes and eliminating leaks. And we help them adopt what we refer to as green refrigeration technology strategies and practices. So kind of the 20-second elevator speech. That is the basics of what GreenChill is. Now, to go back to the mission statement, where it says it's an EPA partnership, what that means is that, I coordinate the partnership. EPA launched the partnership, but that doesn't mean that EPA is the partnership. The partnership is, just as you would guess from the plain meaning of the word partnership, a group of companies that come together to achieve a particular mission. And so to me, the partnership is our partners, and I serve a coordinating function. And I know that an awful lot of people talk about but I do feel that in GreenChill that is really true. The GreenChill achievements, the GreenChill projects, the enthusiasm and motivation that is GreenChill, the momentum around technologies, all of that is due to our partners. And EPA definitely plays a role in the partnership, but this partnership is not about EPA. Second part of the mission statement with food retailers. Now, in the beginning when GreenChill was launched, it was November the 30th, 2007, so we're coming up to our third year anniversary. GreenChill was launched with 3 different partner categories, and the main partner category and the intention was always to have the focus on this category was food retailers. I to just refer to them as supermarkets. We listed food retailers because we want to be sure people understand that it's, small grocers, supermarkets, big box stores. It's basically any food retailer that has refrigerant emissions. That is the focus. They are the main achievers in GreenChill. They are the people who reduce their refrigerant emissions and by doing so decrease their environmental impact. The other 2 categories are, we refer to them as advanced refrigeration technology manufacturers. These are not component manufacturers, and I'll go into the difference a little bit later and why we have had to make that difference. Are manufacturers of our so-called, what we refer to as advanced refrigeration technologies. That is secondary loop technologies, distributed systems, compact chillers, CO2 cascade systems, basically refrigeration systems that are designed in a different way versus the standard centralized DX system, and they're designed to reduce charge size and reduce refrigerant leaks. Again, not components, entire systems. The third category is chemical manufacturers, and they were included when GreenChill was launched because, of course, then as now, the subject of refrigerant choice is a very big deal. And of course, in 2010, probably never more so because of the phase out of R22. So just a little bit of a further explanation about some of the key terms in the mission statement. So we achieve our mission and goals. I'm going to now explain the 3 GreenChill programs to you, and those 3 programs are set up to achieve these 3 goals: transitioning to lower impact refrigerants, reducing, eliminating emissions, and adopting green technology strategies and practices. I'm going to explain who can join, how it works. I'm going to give a general overview of the current partner profile, some information about the benefits of joining, and then I'm going to tell you a little bit about the current projects and our future plans to get a sense of where we're headed from here. So the 3 programs that GreenChill has to achieve our mission and goals. We have what we call a corporate emissions reductions program, and that when you hear people talk about the GreenChill partnership, when GreenChill started, that's really all we had. This program was GreenChill. We ended beyond that, actually, well beyond that. So what the corporate emissions reduction program is, we sign up corporate food retail partners. They measure their refrigerant emissions and they set annual goals to reduce those emissions. I'll go into some more information about that a little bit later. The second program is the store certification program. That wasn't even in anyone's thoughts when GreenChill was launched. As we went on, and continued, got into our second year, we kind of thought, well, the only way to reduce corporate emissions or emissions across, all of your stores in your corporation is through very, very hard work, store by store. And we wanted to give an incentive to people, to companies, to start designing their stores in the design phase before actually constructing them. We want them to be designing their stores to reduce refrigerant charge and reduce leaks, so that you're preventing emissions rather than getting into this cycle of leaking, repairing, leaking, repairing. It's obviously better for everyone to prevent those emissions right from the start. The third program is the Advanced Refrigeration Program. When we first launched GreenChill, we were very much focused on advanced refrigeration technology. I think rightly so. As we went on, we realized that partners achieve emissions reductions in very, very different ways. There are some partners that have not really, jumped on the advanced refrigeration technology bandwagon. They rely on best practices to achieve their emissions reductions, and there's nothing wrong with that. GreenChill does not tell you how you should reduce emissions. Our job is to try to help everyone understand the options that are out there, the things that work, and everything centered around everything that's available out there in terms of technology, strategies, practices. And I'll go into that one also a little bit more. In terms of who can join GreenChill, you see here this little diagram that I use to show GreenChill stakeholders. Stakeholders are not the same as who can join GreenChill. I think everyone would love to be able to include, to have a program large enough to be able to include everyone who is a stakeholder in achieving GreenChill's mission. Just because we don't have a partner category for you right now does not mean that that you cannot help achieve GreenChill's mission and that you cannot be involved in GreenChill. If you see the GreenChill refrigeration coils, the green and the blue, and in the center of the coils are what I call they're the companies, the people that actually or have a direct influence on emissions. So obviously there's the food retailers, that's where the refrigerant gets emitted. The chemical manufacturers produce the chemicals, the refrigerants. The technology manufacturers are manufacturing the systems that go into the supermarkets. Obviously the component manufacturers, when components fail, leaks happen. And service contractors and technicians, you can have the best refrigeration system out there. If it's not installed properly, it's not doing you any good, and it's certainly not reducing emissions. So those 5 categories are kind of the mainstays of GreenChill's efforts to reduce refrigerant emissions. The 3 of the 5 that are in dark green are the partner categories that we currently have. The other 2, component manufacturers and service contractors and technicians. The reason that we do not have partner categories for those 2 groups is pure and simple, and nobody's happy with this, is that I'm the only person that runs the GreenChill partnership, that works on the GreenChill partnership. It's a one-woman show, And when we first launched the partnership, just the number of phone calls that I got from at the time it was mostly component manufacturers was completely overwhelming, and frankly was didn't get anything done a couple of weeks after the launch, except answering phone calls from people who wanted to join. So just in terms of numbers, component manufacturers and service technicians they're huge groups, and to be honest, I can't figure out how to bring those two groups on board GreenChill without also making it so overwhelming that the partnership ceases to have any impact, because I just wouldn't be able to handle it, and I don't like using that as an excuse, and I don't like that is the case, but that's reality in an agency that is focused on regulation and enforcement. Our GreenChill, as a voluntary partnership, we are meant to complement the existing regulatory structure, and I don't see any increase in the people working on GreenChill in the future. So it doesn't mean I'm not still trying to figure out ways to better work with these groups. So the people on the outside, the environmental regulators, the environmental NGOs, the data system providers, etc., they are all stakeholders. It's necessary to involve them, have them cooperate with GreenChill, with everyone within the industry to achieve GreenChill's mission. Although a trade organization, for instance, does not directly emit refrigerants, neither does a service tech certification organization or a data provider. So, okay. So I hope that explained who can join a GreenChill partnership. That was maybe a long-winded way of saying that if you are in one of the three categories in dark green, are eligible to join the GreenChill partnership. If you are not, are other ways to be involved. So partnership works. Again, this is when people refer to the partnership, it is the corporate emissions reduction program is what we refer to as the partnership. And that is, this is only open to retailers, to call them supermarkets, have refrigerant emissions. The way it works is we have a one-page agreement. Well, it's pages, one piece of paper. It describes what EA does in the agreement, what the supermarket does in the agreement, some fundamental things like the partnership does not. You can't use the fact that you are a GreenChill partner to excuse non-compliance with the Clean Air Act, right? So if you're caught intentionally venting refrigerant, you can't say, well, but let me off because I'm a GreenChill partner. GreenChill offers no regulatory relief. So that kind of thing is explained in the agreement. Also, the way you're allowed to use the GreenChill logo, et cetera. That's kind of what the agreement is for. You get a starter pack, which has basically has the partner contact list, an explanation of how to join the LinkedIn group. It's kind of it's a couple pages, and it kind of just lays out it's everything you need to know to get to get involved in the partnership. And then basically the sign the partnership kind of kicks in. The first decision you have to make in terms of how the partnership works is you have to determine in forward with setting a refrigerant emissions baseline and starting your annual refrigerant emissions reporting, you have to first make a decision of which year you want to be your baseline year. And the reason that that is important is because your achievement, one of the ways we measure your emissions reductions is we constantly take every year's emissions and measure them against your baseline year. So you can choose to have the year that you join GreenChill be your baseline year, or you can choose up to 2 years prior to the year you joined. So you still join in 2010. That means that you can choose to have your baseline year in 2008, 2009, or 2010. And the reason we set it up that way is especially with the founding partners of GreenChill, some of them had already put in an awful lot of work in getting started on reducing emissions before the partnership was formally launched. So in 2007, they wanted their baseline year to be a year before their reduction strategies started to kick in, because they considered that to be a fair measurement of the progress that they've made. So that's why we allow that. You measure in your first year, you measure and report the data from your baseline year. And then you set an annual goal for the next year. So you take your, let's say you come out and your corporate-wide emissions rate aggregated across all your stores is 20%. We then talk back and forth and discuss an annual goal. And both the partner company and I have to agree to your annual goal. You must set an annual emissions reduction goal. You have the option to set another goal in addition to that, and we call that your stretch goal. So we want your regular goal to be challenging, but should not be so challenging that everyone gets demotivated because it's unachievable. So, we discuss back and forth. A stretch goal allows you to set a goal that may be very, very challenging to achieve. But if everything works out right, you just might do it. The advantage of setting a stretch goal is that if you set a stretch goal and you achieve it, you get an award for doing so. We don't have many partners that do that. I don't understand why. I would have thought that everyone would have just set a stretch goal. Once you have your goal, on an annual basis, you measure and report your emissions. And the reporting form is, again, is one piece of paper. On the front side, you report all of refrigerant stocks, and all that is you add up all of your the charges that you have in all of your stores. The second page of it is you report all of your emissions. And emission to us, obviously you don't have a little meter on all of your leaks in your stores that are measuring gas as it's escaping your pipes, for instance. So your emissions are, if you have to refill refrigerant because your system is low, let's say your system is missing 100 pounds of refrigerant, we call that it's low because you have emitted 100 pounds. So whatever you have to refill into your system gets calculated in the system as emissions. And basically, you are required by March 31st of the following year. So for instance, the reporting for 2010, each company's report has to be into me by March 31st of 2011. You report on January 1st to December 31st of each year. And you have a couple months to get all your information together. Honestly, 3 out of the 4 data providers, software providers, have been trained by me on how to do this, and they help our partners an awful lot. I know that one of the data providers, they call it their their GreenChill button. They joke that all they have to do is press a button and your software system prints out your GreenChill report for you. So they are able to help you with this, and you report the emissions and the stocks on a refrigerant by refrigerant basis. So the majority of the form is just a huge list of refrigerants, but let's face it, most supermarket companies aren't using a different refrigerant in every store. So the majority of them only have stocks and emissions in a couple different refrigerants. So filling out the form, other than signing it and putting your name in, it can be as easy as 7 or 8 numbers. So it's not. I know reporting to the government sounds incredibly onerous, but I think our partners have realized it's not a terrible process. So, as part of the partnership, you're expected to participate in the quarterly partner meetings that we have, and we would, of course, love you to participate in the ongoing projects that we have. The second program, store certification program, that is completely separate from the corporate emissions reduction program, but obviously, the two programs, the results of them flow into each other, right? They're all designed to achieve the same mission. Store certification program, rather than looking at your corporate-wide achievement, the store certification program looks specifically at one individual store. So anyone can apply for GreenChill store certification. You do not have to be a partner. All you have to do is achieve the objectives, the standards. They're very clear. It's a line in the sand. And if you achieve the standards, you can get a GreenChill store certification award. We have silver, gold, and platinum. Frankly, the reason that we decided to develop this is there's not really anybody else out there that is giving you credit for your investments, human resource investments, and financial investments in store design aspects that lead to lower refrigerant emissions. So for instance, the LEED store certification program out there, LEED for retail, does not give you credit, does not give you points for reducing your refrigerant charge size or reducing your refrigerant leaks. I had discussed with LEED for a very long time about ways to correct that. In the end, I was afraid that if people are designing stores according to the LEED points that you can get within their system, and you get a point for putting a bicycle rack outside the store, and you don't get a point for installing a better or a refrigeration system that prevents emissions, are people going to be unlikely or more unlikely to invest in refrigeration technology because no points are given for it. We said, well, we don't want that to happen, so we'll develop a program that recognizes stores that are well designed. I'll go into that anymore, but there is a whole history behind it, and as I said, it was not part of the original plan. The standards are on the website. I'm going to actually do something here. I'm going to try to switch over to show you this because there's that big long list of all of these things that are on the website. So I'm supposed to be sharing my desktop with you now. So you see here over on the left, the blue, those are the different pages of the GreenChill website, and you see their GreenChill store certification program. So the first thing, first paragraph, you see to learn more, check out the GreenChill certification program fact sheet. So if you click that on, that that gives you, that's our flyer. There's the lovely Michael Shepard from Harris Teeter, a flyer about the basics of how this all works. You see here, we really, pre-digest this for you, and we really lead you through it. I know I don't personally like when I ask, how do you do something, and someone says, look at our website. But this was really designed, to make everything a step-by-step process for you and to lead you through it. So step one, sometimes the hardest decision, you have to be able to select the appropriate application form. So either have a newly constructed store or you're an operational store. Or you have prior certification, we have a separate form for you to recertify yourself, to recertify your store. Certification has to be renewed every year, and that's to prevent a newly constructed store, from being designed really well, but no one pays attention to the maintenance or operation, and the system does not perform as designed. And, you're leak tight when you open up the store, and within a couple months, you're leaking like crazy. So we want stores to have to renew their certification every single year, because we want you to continue to perform to the standards every single year. And now I'll just show you here an operational store, because nobody believes it when I say that that the certification form is actually, it's one piece of paper, front and back. I see down here, that's the end of it, page 2. And basically, you fill in your information, you tell us which refrigerants you use, you tell us your BTUs, your total remote commercial refrigeration evaporator heat load, you tell us your charge size, you tell us your emissions rate. This is if you're an operational store. We ask you to attach your legend, to attach documentation for your emissions, and attach documentation for your charge, and you're done. So you complete the application form. You see there step 2. You can, the standards actually are right here on the website. So if you go here to GreenChill Store Certification Criteria, you see there are the criteria for platinum level certification. There are 2 ways to get platinum. If you only use refrigerants in your store that are low GWP refrigerants, we define that as refrigerants. The refrigerant has to have a GWP lower than 150. That's a global warming potential. Of course, they can't be an ozone-depleting refrigerant. You are on fast track to achieve platinum certification. We haven't had anyone achieve that yet. We developed that more for the future, because we're expecting that to be a possibility in the future. So people who have achieved platinum, there are only 2 platinum certified stores. One is the Chestnut Hill Star Market, owned by SuperValue, and one is the Price Chopper Colony store in Colony, New York. Have to give them credit, of course. So they achieve platinum by meeting the standards that are in a HFC-based system. Gold and silver are basically the exact same standards. The difference between gold and silver is we expect, as you move from silver to gold to platinum, we expect lower charge sizes, and at platinum a lower leak rate. And leak rate is based on that reduced size. So, for instance, if to get platinum, you only have a couple hundred pounds for your entire supermarket. So let's say you have 300 pounds for your entire supermarket. 5% a year is you can't leak any more than 15 pounds of that 300 pounds per year. That's all listed out for you. I think that's pretty easy to understand. We also have program guidance information here. You see here, this kind of explains, the nitty-gritty, valid for a year. If some reason, somebody, a high school student or whatever, is running your forklift and manages to, to run into a display case and you have a catastrophic leak 1 year, lose your certification for that year, but can jump in again the next year if you're able to achieve the standards. There's no fee to apply for GreenChill certification, store certification. Actually, there's no fee for any of GreenChill's programs. It's paid for by taxpayer dollars. Basically, the only cost that comes into play for the store certification program is that if you achieve the standards and you get certified, we give you a certificate, and you have the option to order a plaque, a very nice plaque. And I don't have a budget to buy the plaques for everybody. We've given out almost 50 store certification awards to date, so that would be a lot of money for GreenChill to pay for all of those plaques. And it takes you through, how to fill out each part of the certification form. There are protocols when we run into questions, like, for instance, what do you do if you have a combined commercial refrigeration and air conditioning system? How do you separate out that information? We have a protocol on that. You see the list of certified stores. So, in general, I think the website is, now you see my, now you see what I do in my free time. You basically, it takes you through everything. You see that it's fast and easy. You can determine ahead of time if you qualify. You can do the calculations. They're right in the form. You apply. You get a decision from me. I tell everybody, if I'm sitting at my desk when I get your application by email, if you have everything that you need in the application, I can usually do the calculations and give you a decision in 15 minutes. So it's fast and it's easy. The Advanced Refrigeration Program, how that works, this is basically this is where we share information about technologies, strategies, practices. So advanced strategy, to give you an example, we encourage you to move to a data-driven refrigerant management system, because if you don't measure the performance of stores, you don't know if you're improving. The monthly webinar series is part of this program, the regular partner meetings. We have the LinkedIn group. I encourage you to join that. And constant ongoing projects. So kind of everything is here that isn't directly setting goals, measuring your emissions, or achieving standards in your stores. So all the help we give and give each other is this program. The current partner profile, we currently we have 50 GreenChill partners, and those 50 partners have about 5,500 stores across the nation. This isn't, you see that this is from June 2010. This basically changes on a weekly basis. We're always adding partners. We're always adding certified stores. The green dots are all of the GreenChill partner stores. The silver and gray and gold stars are certified stores. When we started, we had 6 supermarket partners. So, we're growing pretty fast. If you look at 5,500 stores, it's about 17-18% of the supermarket industry. Certainly room and the desire to have more supermarkets involved. benefits of joining, I mean, a lot of these are the same benefits that you hear from lots of environmental programs. You know, obviously there are environmental benefits to reducing your refrigerant emissions. That's pretty obvious. There are financial benefits. You know, refrigerant emissions cost you money. Any kind of waste costs you money. You reduce waste, you save money, especially in an industry where profit margins are so small. Anytime you can save money, it tends to have a direct effect on what your company can show as profits. Benchmarking goes back to the data-driven management system. In order to, we have kind of two types of partners. We have, on the one hand, partners that used to not know what their corporate-wide emissions rate was, because you are not required to report to anyone, report to EPA what your corporate-wide emissions rate is. It's not part of the EPA regulatory structure for refrigerants. So, and still a lot of supermarkets out there that you ask them what your, corporate refrigerant leak rate is or your emissions rate, and they don't know. And then we have partners that have known for a really, really long time and have been working at it, but they had nothing to benchmark themselves against. So let's say that they started out with a corporate-wide leak rate of 12%, and they've slowly but surely gotten that down to 8%. Well, is that better than their peers? What's the rate of other stores out there? What is everybody else at 30%? Is everybody else at 4%? Are we doing a good job or aren't we? So GreenChill take all of the data that we get, and we give our partners benchmarks so that they can evaluate their performance and see where they're above average or below average. If you achieve your objectives, you get recognition and awards. We give you help in publicity. We have a lot of marketing tools. We have all kinds of great in-store marketing materials, all the way up to you can change your freezer section into an entire GreenChill zone with things hanging from the ceiling and the floor painted and stickers everywhere. And of course, anything that we don't have that partners are interested in, I'm willing to develop. We help with outreach. In terms of publicity, we have been tracking over the past 12 months the press that our partner stores have received for, it's mainly been the store certification program over the past 12 months. And we've calculated it's about $3.5 million worth of press just due to press releases that either EPA or the partner companies have issued for certified stores, by virtue of their belonging to the GreenChill partnership. So it's, a lot of good publicity out there. And we try to do a really good job of getting you publicity, especially for store certifications, getting you publicity in the local area of the store, because obviously, you want the fact that that store is environmentally friendlier than others to influence consumers or customers' purchase decision. So, it may be more important for you to have, a really nice article in the, the town's local gazette than getting a great article in the Wall Street Journal when, 99% of the Wall Street Journal's readers, aren't your potential shoppers. So we do actually concentrate a lot on relevant publicity that is relevant to you meeting your objectives. Of course, provide assistance wherever possible. Partners usually say that one of the biggest benefits of belonging to GreenChill is the opportunity for information sharing. Unfortunately, I think just, kind of putting that out there as a statement, an opportunity for information sharing, it doesn't do justice to the level of information sharing and the openness and the trust that has developed among partners, and I like to think, with me, all partner data is confidential business information and protected under the Clean Air Act. So I can't be forced to share that information with the public as long as it's labeled properly. And I think that partners appreciate having, I call it a friendly face at the EPA. I get all kinds of calls asking questions about, even though we have nothing to do with enforcement and regulation, I'm able to help with questions about the regulations, and I can do so anonymously. So I get questions here, and I go off and I find the right person to answer them, and I get answers in what is probably a lot more non-threatening way than if the partners called their own regional enforcement people, or called Julius Banks here centrally at headquarters, the guy that's responsible for the enforcement. I think that's a huge benefit of joining GreenChill. But in terms of people calling me and saying, hey, I have this problem, and me being able to say, you know what, partner X had the exact same problem 2 months ago, they were able to solve it, let me set something up between the two of you, no need to reinvent the wheel, let's get the information you need and help you out with this problem. So they're kind of, I guess, pretty standard benefits of joining a partnership like GreenChill. Two that people don't think of immediately that I want to highlight here. To me, the refrigeration engineers and the maintenance people at supermarkets are the unsung heroes. So, 364 days out of the year, nobody notices what they do because everything's running perfectly. At one day where, you realize the ice cream is running all over the floor because there's something wrong, and you're losing product, something happened to the refrigeration system, that's when suddenly everybody notices you. So it's really easy to get noticed when somebody goes wrong, when something goes wrong, and it's not that easy to attract attention to your achievements within your organization. GreenChill gives you a way to highlight your achievements within your company, and frankly, a lot of the analysis and information we share can be used by you to help you try to get resources to take on some green projects. Maybe design a store better. Whatever you'd like to do. People holding the purse strings have to feel that investing their money in you and your project is better than investing it somewhere else. So by us documenting your achievements, it gives you the tools to make your arguments internally within your company and hopefully help you in that way. Also, the next generation of good new employees, they really care about the environment. Being part of something like GreenChill gives you a way to recruit really good people from this generation that, where the environment is at top of mind. In terms of current projects and future plans, all of our projects and future plans are designed around these three goals. Again, transitioning to lower impact refrigerants, reducing refrigerant emissions, and furthering green technology strategies and practices. So just keep that in mind. We see in the future that the supermarket industry is going to be more and more interested in lower impact refrigerants. Now, whether that's because of the expectation of some kind of greenhouse gas legislation or regulation, or under something that your states or your region or your regions are undertaking. People want to be prepared for the possibility of, the fact that your refrigerant choice is going to be a difference in the future. So we're seeing a lot of interest there, and where I see interest, that's the areas that I target with webinars and some other efforts. Of course, low impact refrigerants. Every company has to make a strategic decision right now related to the effect of the R22 phase out. Are they going to concentrate on? Are they going to leave the R22, concentrate on leak tightness? Are you going to have a retrofit strategy where you try to get out of R22 and switch to an alternative? It should be something every company is thinking about. I've been talking through those strategies with partners. Set priorities. Again, in terms of your refrigerants having a lower impact on the environment, there are a couple ways of achieving that. Refrigerant choice is one of them. And GreenChill is moving. We're thinking right now. We have a very small team, a very new team. We're thinking about adding some GreenChill standard measurements with the data that we already get from our partners to give benchmarks on the greenhouse gas impact of the refrigerant portfolio of the partners. So it's giving partners more tools to kind of make the strategic decisions that they're called on to make. Continue pressing for emissions reductions corporate-wide. Again, helping to set goals, helping companies with their refrigerant management plans, and again, this goes to the greenhouse gas impact. Trying to expand the types of measurements that GreenChill gives our partners and the kinds of evaluation tools. We're going to continue the store certification program. We're getting to the point now where we're starting to recertify stores in year 2. The standards seem good. The process runs well. We're going to continue to collect data. We're actually really hoping that that we're going to be able to start coming to some conclusions about what works in store design out there and what doesn't. We need to have a little bit more than just 1 year of data to do that, but we're going to soon be in the position to do that, and we're hoping to move to web forms and database access eventually when we have enough information so that anybody can go online and kind of see so what was the average charge size of a secondary loop store? What was the average charge size of a store that used secondary loop for medium temp and went with DX for low temp? Possibilities there. We're a little bit farther away from that. Best practice guidelines and webinars. This has been really successful. We're going to continue with that. We're close to bringing out advanced refrigeration technology guidelines. We're close to bringing out leak prevention and repair best practices guidelines. We'll be coming out with the new monthly webinar series for the rest of this year and next year. And there you have my contact information for more information. I'm hoping to get through that a lot quicker. I have a couple minutes for questions. Does anybody? I see. Let's see. Sorry, I haven't been paying attention to the hands. Yes, you have your hand up. Benny, you may have to unmute your phone by pressing pound 5. If it doesn't work the first time, press it a couple times. If you have a question, I can't hear you, unfortunately. Oh, sorry. No, unmute your own line, pound 6. Looking at my little chart here. Press pound 6 so I can hear you. Nope. Okay, still not hearing you. How about I
fully unmuted your line.
So now I should be able to hear everybody.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. I just raised my hand at the point when you said all the techs working in refrigeration don't get any recognition. I just wanted to say thank you for that comment. It gives us an outlet for recognizing the people out there 90 days, 364 days a year. It's some recognition that never gotten until now.
Well, that's exactly right. You know, at the very least, they have to pay attention to you, I would hope, when you come back with that beautiful GreenChill award, because you hit your corporate emissions reduction goals. You know,
Smile.
That's right. Kevin just came back. He was a lucky.
He's very stable, so.
Is he finally smiling?
Oh yeah. That's fine.
Good. And all for everyone else's benefit, in the picture we just took at GreenChill's annual award ceremony, I was teasing Kevin because he didn't smile in any of the pictures, so I feared that he wasn't happy about receiving the awards. But I was assured that even though he looked very serious, he was very happy. So. Any other questions? Any current partners on the phone that want to, talk about the information sharing benefits or, the recognition benefits? Anybody want to add anything?
This is Kathy Loftus from Hope Market. I just want to say thank you for all your support. All the webinars are so useful and educational for us, and definitely being able to to the other partners, both other retailers as well as manufacturers and whatnot, has been really good. And we're thrilled about the program. We I think, got our first gold certification. We've had other certifications, but the first gold looks like it just came in. So excited.
As of yesterday, I was very, very excited to see that too. That's wonderful. Congratulations on that. And thanks for your kind words. I appreciate it. I think it means something it's more to people who might be considering joining GreenChill, to hear that kind of feedback coming directly from the partners, rather than just have me say it. So thanks very much.
I agree. Nope, thank you. Yep.
I received a message here from a question here on the chat function. Are any of your partners concerned that if they report, they might open themselves up to penalties from EPA as per the Clean Air Act Section 608? I'll ask the partners to chime in, but the first thing that I want to say is that the information that you report into GreenChill can't be used directly. It's not directly transferable to the enforcement situation and the regulations, because, for instance, the leak repair rule under Section 608 is on a store basis, and on actually the basis of a piece of equipment. So the leak repair process is triggered if a particular thing reaches is it, I think, 35%? Is it 5 or 30? I think it's 35. And whatever percent it's a huge percent. And the data that I get is your corporate-wide emissions. So let's say a corporation reported to me that they have a corporate-wide emissions rate of 40%. First of all, that information is protected as confidential business information under the Clean Act. I don't release, give that information to the regional enforcement people. But even if they receive the information that your corporate rate is 40%, they have no way of knowing whether 900 of your 1,000 stores are at leak rate, or whether, you have 10 stores and there's one that's a disaster and all the rest have 10%. So they wouldn't know how to proceed on an individual store basis based on any information that our partners give us. But I'll let, that doesn't mean that there isn't concern from the partners, but that's the reality of the situation. So any partners want to talk about concerns, that GreenChill information will open you up to penalties under the Clean Air Act?
You give it 30 minutes.
No.
Well, I just wanted to give other people a chance first. This is Kathy from Whole Foods again. We really aren't concerned about that happening. So, yeah, we're all set.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? I don't see. I know we've crossed the 3 o'clock mark. I apologize that I didn't have more time for questions. I don't see any other hands up.
Yeah, I got text and email.
Last call. Go once.
Where's my?
Go twice. Okay. If you'd like to receive these charts from me, please send me an email, and I'll send you the presentation. The recording of the webinar might not be up as quickly as it usually is. I won't go into why, but I'm very happy to send you the charts, and of course, as soon as I can get the recording up, I will do so. To everybody for attending, I really appreciate it. Give me a call, send me an email with any further questions you have. Have a good rest of the day. Bye-bye.